Many travelers dream of experiencing the beauty of Tanzania, from its stunning national parks to vibrant cultural sites. Yet the costs often seem overwhelming. But with Visit Tanzania for Less, exploring this East African gem on a budget is not only possible, but incredibly rewarding. Whether you're a solo backpacker, a volunteer, or just a budget-conscious traveler, we provide valuable insights and resources to make your journey unforgettable without breaking the bank. Book your trip now with just a $300 deposit and flexible monthly payments until your travel date. For more travel inspiration and tips, follow us on Instagram or visit us at visittanzaniaforless.com. Visit Tanzania for Less, your dream adventure within reach.
Good afternoon. It is 2 p.m. in beautiful Muskegon Heights, Michigan. This is Community Focus. As you may have seen in introduction, or as you know from watching the program, this program is hosted by Gregory T. Roberts and myself. Our brother Gregory T. has been out for a while, still recovering. We had a chance to communicate last week, so still pray for my brother. We're hoping to have him back soon. But until then, I'm doing my best to steer the ship solo. So again, welcome to Community Focus. As we normally do, let's start the program. How about a little weather? Today, beautiful Friday afternoon in Muskegon. We had a low today of 53, a sunny high this afternoon of 78. Tomorrow, unfortunately, there's a 70% chance of rain, low 63, high of 78. Sunday, partly cloudy, low of 66, high of 80. Monday, again, very sunny, low of 60, high of 80. Tuesday, partly cloudy, low 63, high of 83. Wednesday, 35% chance of rain, might be a bit humid, only a low of 72 and a high of 86. And next Thursday, again, a low of 75, high of 87, 40% chance of rain. That sounds a little bit like humidity to me. But again, enjoy these beautiful summer days here in Michigan that we are so blessed to have. All right. As has become a regular part of our program, I don't call them my top 5 news stories. I just call them 5 things. And I got a bonus thing for you today. There is an E. coli bacteria advisory for Ross Beach, P.F. Hoffmaster Beach, and P.F. Hoffmaster State Park. If you don't know, E. coli is when there is the advisory is when there is a high amount of fecal matter, yes, fecal matter, in the water. So be careful. Take that advisory under advisement. Second item. There was a youth that drowned at our Wasapee Scout camp. So condolences to the family of those scouts. I guess it caught my attention being a former scout, how sad that was. Bike time is happening here in Muskegon, so the noise and the beautiful motorcycles are taking place. Guess what team is still in first place in Major League Baseball? Again, rhymes with Bigers. It is the Tigers. They are still doing their thing. I was thinking, at what point do non-fans and casual fans start to get excited about baseball? Just like how the Lions were doing well and people that didn't really watch football kind of got caught up. So we'll see as the season goes on if we bring in some of those fans. Fifth item, just doing a little research for something I'm working on. Heard this interesting point. The average American sleeps 6 to 7 hours. Do you know before the invention of the light bulb, the average American slept 11 hours? So turn off those lights, turn off those TVs, get some sleep. And my bonus item, just a note to all you players out there, if you're taking your side piece to an event, make sure there is not a kiss cam. All right, those of you following the news will know what I'm talking about. All right, let's get on to why we come here, right? I want for you to give a big welcome to our guest today. His name is Ridley. He is the communications and training manager for Health West of Muskegon. Would you join me in welcoming Gary Ridley to the microphone?
Hey, thanks for the welcome. Happy to be here.
Gary, how are you doing today?
Oh, I am doing well. It is beautiful. You can hear those motorcycles outside of my office here. What a great day they have for all of that going on downtown.
Yes, indeed. I haven't been down yet, but I'm anticipating seeing the bikes. But I'm getting to that age where I don't like the noise quite as much. Yeah.
I don't blame
Um,
you.
Gary, tell people a little bit about yourself and what you do at Health West.
Yeah, so I'm the communications and training manager here at Health West. I oversee a number of teams, including our customer service team, our training teams. But I also do a lot of work in terms of advocacy and outreach into our community, trying to let people know about important issues going on with the community mental health system in Michigan, and trying to encourage them to find ways to help improve our services, help improve the way that Health West serves our community, and just generally make them aware of things that are going on.
Okay. Now I should apologize. We have listeners all over the country that tune into the program. Well, explain to people what Health West is.
Yeah, so Health West is Muskegon County's community mental health service provider. We're also a certified community behavioral health clinic. And so historically, we have served Muskegon County residents who have a severe or persistent mental illness, who may have a developmental disability or might have a substance use issue. Recently, we've also been able to expand our services into more of that mild to moderate type of mental health population.
Okay.
We serve about 7,500 Muskegon County residents annually. So, in a community of about 170,000 people in our county here, we have quite an impact. We touch a lot of lives here in Muskegon County.
Good, good. Okay. Now, I know we're here to talk about some specific things that are taking place today. Why don't you just kind of give folks a little intro on what we're going to talk about today?
Yeah, so currently in the state of Michigan, there is an effort to privatize our system. And so Health West, we're actually a department of Muskegon County. We have our own board of directors here who are appointed to oversee our operations. And those are local residents just like you and me, who are trying to make a difference in our community and ensure that our service offerings match the needs of our community.
Okay. So now, when you say privatize, help me understand the. I'm old enough to remember when we used to have a Michigan Department of Mental Health,
Mm-hmm.
and then that transitioned into the sort of the structure we have today.
Yeah, so the way the state's mental health safety networks, which we're a part of,
Hmm.
is the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. They're the state agency down in Lansing,
Hmm.
that works with the federal government to administer the Medicaid program. And I'm sure you've heard a lot about Medicaid lately with what's
Yes.
happening in Washington and the big beautiful bill that went through.
Yes.
And so the way the system works in Michigan is MDHHS gets those dollars, and then they pass them down to an organization called PIHP. And so that stands for a prepaid inpatient health plan. And so
Okay.
there's 10 of those currently in Michigan, and they oversee different regions across the state. Our
Okay.
region is called the Lakeshore Regional Entity. It includes us. It includes our partners over in Kent County, like Network 180, those north of us in West Michigan Community Health, Ottawa Community, as well as On Point down in Allegan County. And so the MDHHS sends them money, and what they do is they see the needs that we have in our community. They see how much service that we're using, and they distribute the funds appropriately. But
Okay.
they also provide our oversight. And
Okay.
so what's happening in Lansing right now is that PIHP that currently exists, that's a public board.
Hmm.
Things like the Freedom of Information Act, things like the Open Meeting Act, it all applies to that organization.
Okay.
So people like me and you can know what's happening, right? It's all out in the
Sure.
public. We can pay attention to it.
Hmm.
But what the state's trying to do is take it out of the public hands and potentially hand it over to private insurance companies like Blue Cross, United Healthcare. Um, you know, Many of us probably get our physical health care through organizations like that, or at least our health insurance. So handing
Okay.
all that money over to them. And that's raised a lot of concerns for us.
Okay. So now, so as Health West is now, it is still a public entity, or not not a
Absolutely.
private.
Our board is public. Our board is appointed by the Muskegon County Board of Commissioners. All of our meetings are open to the public. So if you're ever interested in learning about how the community mental health system works, come to one of our board meetings. They're usually on Friday mornings. And we're very transparent. We post our board meeting minutes and agendas online for everyone to take a look at. And that's one of our big concerns. As soon as it gets to the private insurance company, that transparency disappears.
Yes.
Blue Cross doesn't have to make their board meetings public, doesn't have to make their agendas public.
Sure.
And so, we're really concerned about a lot of our local decisions being taken away from people in our community like us and given to, big wigs down in Detroit or even out of state to make decisions that will affect people right here in our community.
So if I'm understanding, so part of the idea when they even went to this current structure was to sort of let the local communities kind of decide what best fit the needs of that community.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think everyone probably would agree, there's no one size fits all approach to mental health care. The needs in the city of Muskegon or in Muskegon Heights are probably different than the needs of a city like Grayling or West Branch, right?
Sure. Yes.
And the people who know what those needs are and can come up with solutions to try to address those problems, they live in this community. They don't live down in Detroit or in Lansing. And so the beauty of our system is we get to work collaboratively with organizations across Muskegon County to help address some of these challenges. For instance, we have partnerships with police agencies like Muskegon Police, Muskegon Heights Police, Norton Shores Police, where we've been able to embed mental health clinicians right into those departments. And so when there's an emergency out in the community that might be mental health related, instead of that old school police heavy response that didn't always go so well, we now have this joint response with mental health workers, and it makes our community safer. It makes our police forces safer. It makes our community residents safer. And those type of local partnerships are spawned because we're allowed to make those local decisions, figure out what our local problems are, come up with local solutions. And we're really afraid that this movement that's happening and being led by the governor and MDHHS could strip some of that ability away.
Yeah, I can say this. I know, having talked to Muskegon Heights Police, they really are pleased to have that embedded social worker, and I've only heard positive about it. And again, it gives them another tool to help serve the community, not just to rest our community. So I know they're very appreciative of that program. I'm very proud of it also.
Absolutely. They should be proud of it. They've done some great work.
Yeah. So, and again, I don't want to ask the why because it might be frightening, but I'm a management budget analyst at state and county level. So how are they proposing this structure would work? They would with them privatizing the services.
So I think that's the $1 million question, right? And I don't think there's a lot of answers. And so one of the scariest things about how this process has worked so far is it's been sort of clouded in secrecy. And so what's happening is this is being done administratively. So a little while ago, the state sent out a press release sort of out of the blue saying they were going to open up a bidding process to take over this authority here. And this sort of blindsided everyone. There wasn't a whole lot of expectations for that. And unfortunately, we haven't gotten a lot of answers or a lot of clarity. The official, RFP or that request for proposal hasn't been released yet by the state. We're expecting that potentially later this summer. All we're told is that this is coming, and some of the basic rules that, what we've seen so far very clearly says the people who are currently working in these type of roles will not be allowed to bid on this going forward. And some of the basic rules that we've seen so far really favor those private insurance companies like Blue Cross.
Okay. So two questions in mind at the same time. So the overall State Department of Health and Human Services, I know they have a head that is at the executive level. Do they have like a board that's over the services they provide?
So their general administration answers directly to the governor. Their leadership is appointed by the governor. They're a part of that executive office up there. They have a number of boards and things like that working on specific issues and getting information from our communities and work groups and task force. But no, they answer directly to the governor.
Okay. So I don't want to try to. I want to inform people versus having no bias, because there's this idea out there that privatizing is more efficient, and obviously, again, they've never dealt with some of our insurance companies that are very private, and some of the red tape we go through. So, does this model exist in other states that the governor's proposing? Whatever.
So this has been tried in other places,
Mhm.
and generally it's failed spectacularly.
Mm.
Like you mentioned, a lot of times when you talk about privatization, it goes along with ideas of like cost cutting, right?
Sure.
That's where that conversation comes.
Mhm.
And just to give you a little information, the current system, the way it's set up right now, only has an overhead rate of 2%, meaning, every $100 that comes for mental health care, only 2% of that, $2 of that $100 goes to cover the administration of the program. If the private insurance companies step in, they're allowed to take up to 15%.
Wow.
And so when you look at that across the state level, if they take 15% overhead, that's going to mean $500 million that currently goes to mental health care will no longer go to mental health care. That will go to pay insurance companies to do the work that's currently being done by us for a lot cheaper. And Blue Cross and some of the health plans just this week announced that they need double-digit rate hikes to cover their services. Blue Cross's CEO last year made a salary of $13.9 million. I can guarantee you no one in Muskegon County government or the PIHP system is making that type of money, right? And so, when we hear these arguments that this is to help save money or reduce costs, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to us when you actually look at how these systems operate.
Mhm. Now, correct me on this if I'm wrong. Blue Cross is not considered totally private. What is it categorized as something else, or?
So Blue Cross is a not-for-profit
Okay.
healthcare
And not
system.
to just pick on them, there's others we could name, but
Yeah,
we'll pick on
and
them.
they're
Yeah.
big, right? So a lot of people use them as the
Yes.
example. But yeah, this has been opened up for the not-for-profit healthcare systems to apply for.
Yes. Yeah. So so when we say private, really, they're not for profit, but they look a lot like they're for profit.
Not-for-profit, doesn't mean that there's not a lot of money being spent on things like advertising, right? You go down to Comerica Park, you see that Blue Cross name up there.
Yes.
Southwestern Muskegon County, we don't have pockets deep enough to put our name up on Comerica Park down there. So, just because you're not from profit doesn't mean that there's not a lot of money being made.
Yeah. Fun balance. Nice fun balance. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm really stunned by that 2% overhead. I mean, nowadays most grants are 10%,
Mhm.
but that's really a tribute to people trying to make sure that the service gets out to do that with only 2% overhead.
Absolutely. People don't go into this line of work to get rich. That's for sure.
Yeah.
People come to work for places like Health West or Network 180 in Kent County because they love the community that they serve. They love the people that they serve, and they're dedicated to serving those people. And when decisions are taken away from people like that and given to, like I said, people who might not even be familiar with our community, may never even been here before, you can't guarantee those motives still exist.
Mhm. So now, is this being proposed for all of the agencies throughout Michigan, or just your
Yeah.
area?
So this would affect all community mental health providers across the state of Michigan. So right now, there's 10 regions across the state. This plan
Mhm.
would reduce it to about 3. And so the way that would be broken up is, down in Detroit, the big metro area, the Macomb County, Oakland County, Wayne County, that would be
Mhm.
one region. And then most of the rest of the lower peninsula would be another region, and then the northern tip of the lower peninsula and the UP would be the third region. And so right
Wow.
now our local region is us, Kent County, Ottawa County, but in the future, if this plan goes forward, it would include Gladwin, Ypsilanti, places all over the state of Michigan that might not look anything like Muskegon County.
Yeah. So, what's the pushback by agencies like yourself to this? Is something that's being discussed? Is the RFP supposedly is being talked about, although it's not out there?
Mhm.
What's the current pushback to this?
Yeah, so we have a lot of concerns, and the big one, right, is that we want clinical decisions made locally. If you are having a mental health crisis and you walk into the front door of Health West to get help, the last thing you want to do is call up your insurance company to see if you can get help with your mental health crisis. The way the system currently works, those decisions are made right here on site. We're able to connect you to service, get you the care you need right away. Plans like this put someone else in the middle of that and slows everything down. The other thing with this is, insurance companies really work to try to reduce cost. And when you talk about reducing cost in the insurance industry, their costs is medical care, right? And so to reduce cost, you reduce care. And we're really afraid that it will lower, rates paid to providers. There's already a critical shortage of mental health workers across the nation, not just here in Muskegon, not just in the state of Michigan, but across the nation. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. How are you going to recruit more people into this field if you're lowering rates, which is going to lower salaries, which is just going to make getting care even more difficult because there'll be less providers there to provide that care for you.
Okay. All right. Has there been any reach out or feedback from our representatives in this area?
So right now we do have a campaign going. We're encouraging everyone to reach out to their local legislators. So your state reps, your state senators, reach out to them, let them know how important our local system is. Unfortunately, because this is being done administratively through MDHHS, the legislature hasn't even been involved. In fact, 3 years ago, Republican Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey tried this very same thing, and it was voted down. And when this went through the legislature last time, sheriffs spoke out about this, religious organizations spoke out about this, labor unions spoke out about this. 67% of Michiganders said at the time they did not want to see that service privatized, and those bills failed. And now this is coming back again, but they're doing it through MDHHS and an administrative process. And so that feedback, it doesn't find its way into the system. And so we really need our legislators to speak up and say, hey, running programs like this, we need a voice in this too. We can't just unilaterally make changes without hearing from the people who are affected by this. The National Association of Mental Illnesses Michigan chapter, they've spoken out about this. So the people receiving the care have said they don't want to see this happen. The people providing the care said they don't want to see this happen. But yet it's still moving forward at this point.
So again, now you say there's very little information. Is there any place people can go on a website and find out about what's being proposed?
Yeah, so you can come to the Health West website, www.healthwest.net/advocacy. That's our advocacy page. And we have a whole bunch of information on this. It's a very complicated issue. We try to spell it out as clearly as we can. And as this moves forward, we'll continue to update that. You can also follow us on Facebook. We post regular updates on there as well.
Okay. Of course, they should reach out to our local House and Senate representatives as well.
Absolutely.
So you said this was tried legislatively a couple of years ago and kind of got shot down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's coming back, and it was really a surprise when that happened. But like I said, so many people, judges spoke out about it, sheriffs spoke out about it. I like to joke with people, you don't often see the Sheriff's Association and the labor unions on the same side of a political argument, right? And both of them were speaking out about this. And so it was a pretty big surprise when we saw it come back.
Yeah. So was this, I think I should keep up with this better, but we don't have a current budget in place for next year. Is this part of the governor's budget proposal?
So you're right. There's still a lot of discussion happening in Lansing about what the budget proposal is going to look like. And on top of that, in Washington, we've just saw this big, huge fight over Medicaid funding. And I think what you're hitting on is something that we're afraid of, right? Is we already have a whole lot of fear and confusion and cuts potentially coming to the Medicaid system. And now this whole thing going on at the state level is just going to add more confusion and potentially cut even more services at the same time. And so it's really a 1-2 punch to the system that we're afraid is going to knock it out.
Yeah. It's I don't know at what point, you hear so much national news going on. At what point people, become discouraged, where they hear so much of the stuff they don't even reach out for assistance anymore.
Mhm.
There's no nothing's changed yet, but they start thinking, well, they don't do this, and it's based on what I heard on the news or saw on my Facebook feed, and you get concerned that just a general discouragement. People start to feel that there's no safety net.
Yeah.
There's nobody there that's really caring about their concerns and their interests anymore.
Yeah, and it's it's scary, right? There's a lot
Yeah.
of doom and gloom in the news right now. And you, as an average, just citizen of this country, a lot of times don't know what you can do to make a difference in this world. But in this case, like you said, we can reach out to our lawmakers, we can voice our concerns,
Hmm.
and as a community, we can speak out and say that these valuable partnerships that we've built here, we need to continue these.
Okay. We got a couple of minutes left. Gary, any good news? any other things going on at Health West may want to make sure we get out there to the public?
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely. There's some great things going on here at Health West. We have our Health, Wellness, and Recovery picnic coming up next month. That's going to be on August 14th down at Hackley Park from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you've never been to this before, I'd really encourage you to come out. We get close to 100 health service providers and other community organizations
Mhm.
come out. It's a free event. You get a free lunch. There's live music, and you get to meet some of these service providers in our community, connect with them, and try to find some assistance if you may need it. Even if you don't need it, it's just a great day to come out. We get about 1,000 people out there, have some fun in the park. It's a great day to celebrate health and celebrate some of those things going on in Muskegon County. And then also with our service delivery, we're constantly working here at Health West to try to improve, the way that we're serving Muskegon County and trying to, improve the behavioral health here of Muskegon County. And so, we touched on it a little bit earlier, some of those police partnerships, those things are still in their infancy. We're still, really developing these partnerships and trying to expand them across the county. And like you mentioned, we've seen some really great results from those so far.
No, that's awesome. So again, Gary, tell people, let's do this in the last minute. Kind of summarize the big concern of what's going on with the state and where people can reach out to you if they got questions or want to know more about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services is potentially trying to take control of our community mental health system away from our local community and hand it over to private insurance organizations who are out of town. And if you want to do something about it, you can talk to your legislator, your senator, your representatives. Feel free to come to the Health West website, healthwest.net/advocacy. We got tons of information on there. We have some social media graphics that you can share. We have links to some letter writing campaigns. So even if you don't know what to say or who your representative is, we have resources to help you be able to speak up and preserve your local system.
Okay. And I'd probably say two things to people. One, um, you know, privatizing doesn't always mean we're saving money. And there's probably some things we ought to really be concerned about whether we're privatizing them because we're providing some services for people. And there's more considerations always other than just, we have to consider dollars, but also want to consider who we're trying to serve.
Absolutely. You got to maintain that quality.
Yes. Important. Gary, thank you so much for joining us today. We got about 30 seconds left. Any final thoughts or comments?
Oh boy, you got me all fired up with that Tigers talk earlier coming in. I can't wait to see them get back from the All-Star break and do some damage in this second half. I was
Yeah.
actually watching the old Maglio Ordonez walk-off from 2006 the other day. I'm like, oh boy, I can't wait to see those Tigers in the playoff this year, maybe doing that again.
Well, I'm a casual fan, but was it 88, 89,
84 was their last championship,
84 they
so
won, and they
it's
were
been
real high. I was
41
working on
years
offense
too.
in 88, I think 87, 8 when they were real good, and
Yep,
just
yep.
I got caught up.
Oh
So,
yeah.
and that's what I said. I'm a casual fan, but when they start doing well, I start paying a little more attention, catch a couple of innings here and there. So,
Hey, summer's a lot better in Michigan when the Tigers are playing good baseball, right? You can't beat sitting around a campfire listening to the Tigers game on the radio.
there you go. Sounds good. Gary, thank you so much for joining us. Hey, keep us posted. You're welcome to come back on the show, but keep us updated on how this thing is transpiring and keep our community informed, okay?
Will do. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, you're welcome. Take care now.
Have a good one.
All right. All right, folks, that was Gary Ridley.
Many travelers dream of experiencing the beauty of Tanzania, from its stunning national parks to vibrant cultural sites. Yet the costs often seem overwhelming. But with Visit Tanzania for Less, exploring this East African gem on a budget is not only possible, but incredibly rewarding. Whether you're a solo backpacker, a volunteer, or just a budget-conscious traveler, we provide valuable insights and resources to make your journey unforgettable without breaking the bank. Book your trip now with just a $300 deposit and flexible monthly payments until your travel date. For more travel inspiration and tips, follow us on Instagram or visit us at visittanzaniaforless.com. Visit Tanzania for Less, your dream adventure within reach.
As an Olympic athlete, I prepare for everything. So when I became pregnant, I thought I was ready. But at 32 weeks, I was diagnosed with severe preeclampsia and had an emergency C-section. Looking back, had I known the warning signs, I would have talked to my doctor sooner. Too many women die of pregnancy-related complications, and most are preventable. If you or someone you know is pregnant or recently had a baby, learn the warning signs. It could help save her life. Hear her.
When smoking gives you COPD, you learn to lie a little bit. You make up excuses like, I have to get my keys. You guys go on. Anything so you can walk at your own pace. I used to do that all the time. Those lies don't work anymore. My tip is, the worst lies are the lies you tell yourself. Like smoking isn't that dangerous.
You can quit. For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
There ain't no limit to where you go when you put your heart in it. We going far, but the sky is the limit. There ain't no place like home. It's the kids' free trip to Africa, going back to the motherland. You gon' wish you were there with us. Pack your bags 'cause we're leaving now. Kids' free trip to Africa.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Community Focus. I had a comment from one of our listeners, Michael Anthony Smith. This was based on our previous discussion. He said, privatization is not for mental health. And thank you for that comment, Mr. Smith. I certainly would add to your comment, there's some concerns when we talk about changing our system of service delivery, that we really need to look carefully at what we get with privatization. So thank you for that comment, Mr. Smith. We're going to change directions a little bit here. I'm going to introduce our next guest. I believe we have coming to the microphone, Rich Houtteman, Director of Lakeshore Affairs for Consumers Energy, and Victoria Rombach, Energy Assistance and Outreach Revenue Operations. Welcome to Community Focus. And I say little circles on my computer screen. We have been having a few issues today, not energy and electric related, but and I believe we also have Matt Johnson media relations specialist with Consumers Energy, joining us also. And if you guys can hear me, I apologize. We're having some issues getting them on the screen. So if you hold tight, you may have seen or heard about a news release that came out earlier this week from Consumers Energy, where they're again proposing, not proposing, they're making us aware of some assistance they'll be providing to their energy customers that have some specific financial needs. So we're hoping to get them on to talk about that in the next minute or two here. So we're gonna have a um, little difficulty. Um, some of you may or may not be familiar with some of their programs, but there is a state emergency relief fund that's been established, and then hopefully we'll get to talk about that fund, how it's established, and how dollars go into that fund, and how they'll be able to access that for members of our community and throughout the entire state. In fact, okay. Let me share a little bit of this press release with you. Again, we're trying to work out some bugs here. I won't read all of this, but Consumers Energy and electric and natural gas customers who qualify for state emergency funds haven't received the full $500 annual payment credit may now qualify for additional assistance under a new Michigan Department of Health and Human Services policy in effect immediately. So we maybe bashed DHHS a little bit earlier, but this may be something on the good side. The state emergency relief dollars help certain income qualified customers take control of their past due energy bills up to a maximum of $500. The one time federal funds dispersed at the state level are distributed to customers who apply and whose household income is 150% of the federal poverty level or below. And for those who don't know what that means, you can call different agencies, you can call your city halls. They can tell you what the poverty level is for your community. And then, and that can be by family size, one person, two person, two people with kids. They can tell you that. You can also look it up. Or you can find it on websites, probably on DHS website, and to see if your income qualifies. It says beginning July 7th, new customer applications who haven't received a relief in fiscal year 2025, which ends September 30th, are eligible to receive $500 per commodity cap, regardless of their past due balance. Previous SEI recipients who have already received funding since October 1, 2024, but haven't reached the 500 commodity cap can apply for the remaining amount starting July 11th. So the year that we're talking about, a fiscal year, so that year, which is based on the state year, begins October 1, 2024, and it'll end September 30th, 2025. So just when we say year, you understand what we're talking about. We have a quote here from Laura Snyder, Senior Vice President of Consumers Energy. She says, "We're dedicated to equity, accessibility, and affordability for Michiganders who count on us for reliable electricity and natural gas. Through our various energy savings programs, energy assistance offerings, and partnering with Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, we support the growing needs of our customers who experience challenges paying their bills." And again, for sometimes people say there's no help. Currently there's some assistance, some help out there. So if you haven't applied, again, look at your bill. Even if it's behind, don't be afraid of it. There is a number on there that you can call, and there's you can email to find out if you're eligible for some assistance. You should be aware. Last year, over 54,000 customers received $38.4 million in state emergency relief funding. That helped a total of 137,000 families across Michigan counties, or across 30 Michigan counties, receive some type of energy assistance. In addition, state emergency relief funds And in addition to the state emergency relief funds, there is additional help available for anyone who needs assistance with their energy bills by calling 211. That here in Muskegon, a free resource that can connect people with nonprofit organizations. So if you aren't familiar with 211, that is a number you can call here in Muskegon County, and you can be connected with various nonprofit agencies, food shelters, clothes pantries, food pantries, places that serve dinner, all types of nonprofits. If you call that number, they can try and help connect you. Again, customers can also visit consumersenergy.com/assistance if they want additional information. Um, all right. It says to make it easier for customers to find the help they needed based on their situation, Consumers Energy recently launched my personalized offerings, an easy to use tool that empowers customers to identify and enroll in custom payment assistance and energy management programs. This optional tool is free and available to all customers at consumersenergy.com/offers. Um, Other resources, again, My Bridges, our state emergency relief. You can contact your DHHS office. And again, hopefully be on the lookout for that additional information. Again, we had hoped, and we're still hoping to maybe get the representatives from Consumers Energy on the line to have a conversation today, but we're having some difficulty. But again, this is the time of year. No, we know in Michigan, in the winter, it's gas and gas bills primarily. But this time of year, we burn a lot of electricity. Okay, we're going to take a short break and we will return.
As an Olympic athlete, I prepare for everything. So when I became pregnant, I thought I was ready. But at 32 weeks, I was diagnosed with severe preeclampsia and had an emergency C-section. Looking back, had I known the warning signs, I would have talked to my doctor sooner. Too many women die of pregnancy-related complications, and most are preventable. If you or someone you know is pregnant or recently had a baby, learn the warning signs. It could help save her life. Hear her.
As long as I can.
What's something people don't know about community impact? A simple donation could transport kids to the heart of Ghana, opening a world of possibilities. Since 2017, thanks to 103.7, the Beat and community, supporters like you, dozens of kids have embarked on a journey of a lifetime to Ghana. This isn't just any trip. It's filled with learning, adventure, and joy. These kids are diving into a culture rich in tradition. They're learning about the world beyond their textbooks. This program educates and connects communities, building bridges. Your support can light up a child's life. It's an exploration of potential and a celebration of new friendships. Donate today at kidsfreetriptoafrica.com. Every donation matters. Please donate today at kidsfreetriptoafrica.com. Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon. We're back. We're going to try this again. Matt, Rich, Victoria. God, thank you all so much for hanging in there with us.
Yeah.
As you all know, things happen.
Hey.
Thank you so much. If you're available, we can go a little bit over our time today. But starting with you, Matt. If you all would introduce yourselves and maybe tell folks what you do at Consumers Energy.
Sure. Thank you for having us. First of all, my name is Matt Johnson. I'm a media relations specialist at Consumers Energy and work to support all the great work that we're doing to help customers, pay their energy bills and provide assistance for them. We support all of our renewable energy and customer energy saving programs. So glad to be on. Thanks for having us.
Okay. And go Matt, then Tori.
Hi,
Rich, I'm
thank you so
sorry.
much for having me. My name is Rombach, and
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Victoria. Uh-oh.
Yeah, she may have. We may. I'll just go.
Go ahead, Rich.
Rich Houtteman, local. Big fan of the station. Really years. My role as affairs manager, help the community, to the company and the company community. That's kind of what I.
Okay. Rich, we're having a little trouble with your volume there. Apologize. I don't know if we're having some with our servers today.
Okay. Is that a little better?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Okay. We had this press release talking about the state emergency relief fund. If you could give our listeners a little more insight about that and what's taking place.
Yeah, I can do that. Really the idea here is that we're putting customers first, right? A new policy from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services has made available more energy assistance now for customers who are in need. So it's just part of our commitment to keeping bills affordable. And those customers who are of certain income level now qualify for access to additional state emergency relief dollars up to $500 per utility, whether that's electric or gas. And so we're very grateful to work with the state to ensure that customers can access all the funds available to them through that state emergency relief program.
Okay. And Tori, what's the best way, as people are hearing this, they can get some information, find out if they're eligible for this program?
yeah, that's a great question. So there's a couple of ways customers can apply and determine whether or not they qualify. Just for starters, customers must be shut off or have a past due notice to qualify, and then it is an income qualified program. So, for example, a customer who's a one-person household would need to make about $22,000 or less. Three-person household would need to make about $38,000 or less to qualify, and so on and so forth. So if you're curious, if you qualify and want to find out more, you can go to newmybridges.michigan.gov, and that's newmibridges.michigan.gov, and that's where you can click on apply, and you can learn more about the program, apply for benefits, see what's out there and available for you. And then you can also reference our website, which is consumersenergy.com/assistance.
Okay. So is there any additional information they'll need? So they can apply through My Bridges or reach you all directly. Is there any special information they're going to need, like obviously income verification?
Yep, and when they go to apply on the website, they can look right there. It'll walk them through all the documentation that they'll need. They can also call 211 or their local Department of Health and Human Services office that will be able to direct them and give them explicit examples of documentation that they would need to prove their income. So things like pay stubs, identification, those types of things are typically asked for. Help through the process.
Okay. I was looking at the press release. You also talked about a new formatting that you had on your website. I was called Consumers Energy Offers.
I think you're referring to
Yeah,
my
so we have a
personalized
new tool
offerings.
on our website. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, my personalized offerings is a tool on our website and on our app. If you have the Consumers Energy app, where you can go in and fill out some basic household information, and it connects our customers with not just energy assistance programs, but any other programs that will sort of help you reduce energy waste, as we call it. So, to make your home more energy efficient, if you're not of low income, but you're any customer and you need help or assistance or ways that you can save money on your bill or save energy, my personalized offerings will help you identify what is best for you based on your income, based on where you live. And so it's another great tool, outside of the state emergency relief funds, and just it had a wider scope for any customer who might need help.
Okay. I had a question. I know, like now, I pay attention to my bill. I see, like the comparative use of my energy to last year and how efficient my home is. Are you getting feedback from people when they look at those comparisons, or are people looking at those?
Yeah, I think people do take advantage of using the energy dashboard in the Consumer's Energy app or in your account when you log in. I think we encourage everyone, if you're not taking a look at your bill, to do that. I think sometimes we get the bill and we know we have to pay it and we see what it is and we're like, wait a minute, but our energy dashboard, really dive in and see what your usage is will really help you to really take some personal responsibility for saving energy, right? I looked at mine last week and realized that it was summer, and it even goes hour by hour and shows me what times of day I'm using energy, whether it's peak energy or off peak energy. And so I realized that, hey, in the middle of the afternoon, when it's the hottest time of the day and I'm blasting the air conditioning, well, that's when I'm using more energy than maybe I need to be, right? And that's the higher usage times of day. That's the time of day that rates are a little bit higher. And so just that knowledge is really power in helping customers understand their usage so they can limit their usage and ideally save both energy and money.
Okay. I guess any of you can answer. Well, we have the program will provide assistance. I don't say it's a mandatory, but when we provide assistance, how strongly do we encourage people to maybe tap into some of those other energy saving programs that are out there as well?
Tori, do you want to take that one?
Sure. So I do know that it's not a required thing. Of course, if you're looking for assistance with your energy bill and want to take advantage of different programs that are out there, you're not required to go and enroll in an energy waste reduction program, for example. But it is something that we do work to educate our customers on, and different agencies that enroll customers in these energy assistance programs where you're reducing your bill also try to educate customers on these other options too. Because to Matt's point, it's just another resource and tool to have in your toolbox that helps you lower your bill. And that's, a good thing at the end of the day. So lots of great resources. And again, to learn more about those, you can go ahead and visit our website as well.
Okay. And we talk about what are some of the, and I need one of y'all to come to a house. I'm having trouble with my thermostat. I can't reprogram it, but it might be operator error. But what are some of those other energy efficient programs that you have available?
I can jump in on this one if it.
Sure.
Hear me okay, Mike?
Yes.
Okay, great. So really a great resource is to go to consumersenergy.com/residential. And we have a host of various programs there where, you know, a lot of tips and tricks. If you want questions on your account, if you want to sign up for a home energy analysis, and through that, Mel, we can take a look at your thermostat situation. And give you some other ideas on how to capitalize on the programs that we have. But it's about an hour and a half. And another thing that we do around those, like we're going to have 2 events coming up that we really want to make sure we highlight before we leave today.
Okay.
So we're going to be at Parties in the Park, not Parties in the Park, National Night Out. And you guys are actually doing music there. It's going to be over at August 5th. And DJ Q89 is going to be over there spinning the tracks, and our team will be there on site. We are going to be giving out light bulbs, some efficiency, maybe some night lights, and then also getting people signed up for these home and energy analysis, and great ways for people to just learn more, like Matt and Tori have been mentioning about being empowered users of their energy and getting more in contact daily on how they can just monitor that. Like sometimes just an email from us like, hey, you got a high bill coming. It's compared to last month, and during these intense times when it's just blasting. So we just we're trying to do the outreach that we can. We'll also be out at the Hackley Community Center on the next day, August 6th from 12 to 3. So our team will be out back-to-back days in the Heights area, well, in the city of Muskegon and the Heights, and get people signed up and try to get them some education.
Great. Look forward to seeing those events. And again, want to encourage people to get the home energy analysis. It's really I had one a couple years ago. I probably need to get another one. But again, like you say, some tips and tricks. Unless you just want to give money away, but I found it very helpful. So I want to encourage people, one to take advantage of being out at those events, and certainly getting the home energy analysis. It can be eye opening. Just the little things you can do to take a few dollars, a few pennies off your electric bill. I want to go back to again the state emergency relief fund for people that don't know. How does this fund get funded, and how do you access it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the program is federally funded.
Hmm.
So and then the dollars are allocated to each state. So it's a nationwide program.
Hmm.
And then a certain portion of the program funds are allocated towards this program called state emergency relief. So the full program is called low income home energy assistance program, and then and it's categorized into different subsets. And so one of those subsets is the state emergency relief, and customers, and it's distributed through the Department of Health and Human Services. So that's how people would access the funds, is working with their local DHHS office. And so, like I said, they can go online to the new mybridges.michigan.gov website and apply right online, or they can go into their local DHHS office and actually get a paper application and fill it out in person there as well.
Okay. And Tori, while we have you talking, sometimes people they get behind and they're embarrassed. You know, their pride's hurt. Talk to people about maybe overcome things and the assistance you're offering.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the way that I look at these programs, that's a completely understandable feeling to have. It may be a situation that you never expected to be in, and it's scary and hard sometimes to ask for help, and you may feel like you don't deserve it, or that you don't feel comfortable asking. But we are so excited to offer you guys these tools, and really want you to feel empowered to take control of the situation that you're in, and really be the hero of your own story, and help educate you on these programs, and give you these tools to help get you back on track to where you want to be. So really, there should be no shame in asking for help. We could all be there at any point. And so please feel empowered to go and do so, and know that our company and our team is here to support you along the way.
Okay. And I'm a Matt and Rich. I'm not putting you on the spot, but I do uh, run across your names in my other careers. For people in general, summer we get some outages, we get traffic lights out, we get storms. Tell people some of the things they can do to, one, get information about outages in their area, and maybe even report outages and get updated when those things happen.
Sure, I'm happy to take that one. Yeah, we realize, our goal here, number one, is to keep the lights on for our customers, right? And you can
Hmm.
count on us to do that. When storms hit, we're ready. We have a team that is prepared across the state and ready to respond whenever there's the anticipation that we're going to have severe weather. We've got a full on-staff meteorologist who's helping us monitor the weather conditions. In fact, tomorrow afternoon, we're expecting some storms to roll through the southwestern part of the state across the east side of the state. And so we're constantly monitoring and looking ahead and monitoring the conditions, be ready. But we'd also encourage people to have a safety plan, right? Be aware that if the power does go out, what's your plan? Have the flashlights, have the batteries charged up, right? If you have a generator, be ready to use it safely outside, right?
Hmm.
We want to eliminate the risk for carbon monoxide poisoning, right? So, have a family member or a friend that you might be able to stay with if you lose power for a significant amount of time. So just having that family safety plan when it comes to outages is certainly important. Know that we're monitoring the weather right alongside with you, and we have crews pre-stationed and ready to respond. This is their job. It is job number one for us at Consumers Energy to keep the lights on for you. A great resource for customers is consumersenergy.com/outage map. Many people might be familiar with our outage map. you can actually dive really deep in and see right down to your street the estimated time that power might be restored.
Yeah.
Sometimes those times may fluctuate. We have to get out there and assess the scene and kind of see what materials it's going to take to get those lines back up, or the wires back up. But we want to do that as quickly and as safely as possible too. We're not going to be out there if the wind is too high or heavy so that our crews are in danger either, right? So we appreciate people's patience in those situations, and we understand that it's an inconvenience, but you can count on us to get the lights back on as quickly and safely as possible.
Yeah. Love the app, by the way. Had a couple
Yeah.
outages that has really, really helpful. You want answers. Like somebody
Yeah.
tell me something. So I really appreciate the app, and it works it gives you good information and kind of gives you some hope when the lights go out.
You can sign up for alerts there too, right? So, you can
Yeah.
type in your address. If you're logged into your account, it'll get you a text message or an email alert as well. So you'll know when the power is out at your home, or when it's expected to be back on. So definitely encourage people to download the app, check the outage map, and know that we're working as hard as we can to get the lights back on for you.
Okay.
Yeah, Matt,
Go ahead, Rich.
just text REG to 232273. You can get text alerts right on your phone. And Matt just hit on that. And I use it. It's really helpful if I'm not home and I'm maybe at my parents' just trying to cool down or something. Just try to wait it out a little bit. That's good reason.
Yeah, it's a good way to check and see, well, if my power's out, whose house can I go to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I appreciate all you guys hanging in with us today through some technical issues. Really appreciate that. Let's go around and give you guys the final word before we wrap up the day. I'll start with you, Matt, and we'll go Rich, and then Tori will give you the final word today.
Well, thanks again for having us. We're so glad to be here. Consumers Energy provides electric and or natural gas service to, 6.8 million Michiganders in the Lower Peninsula, right? And so we've got a big job, right? We've got 8,000 employees here, powering those 6.8 million customers in the state of Michigan relying on us. And we just want people to know that we're here for you to provide reliable and affordable energy for you, right? And so that's our number one job. We appreciate everybody understanding and knowing that we're here to help make that happen, whether it's energy assistance or it's my personalized offerings, whether it's being there for you in an outage, helping you save energy and save money, and doing, getting, making improvements to our infrastructure to keep the grid reliable so that you can count on us. We're invested in Michigan, and we appreciate those that are invested too, and you can count on us to continue to do that.
Okay. Go ahead, Rich. I do have a question I want to throw out there that came through just as we're wrapping up, but go ahead, Rich, and then I'll throw this question in there.
Real quick, Melvin. Thanks again for all this. It's always good to see you. We show up in a lot of ways. I think we're hitting on those when we've been doing for the last 100 years in the but we also, we know Broadway's get reconstructed, and
yes,
showed up strong for Rowan Park. Our foundation gave $250,000 last year. We is on the right path, and we're going to ride alongside Reed Mesquite. They redevelop. We have strong faith that there's bright days ahead, and we're just really honored to serve the Heights, and we want to support them any way we can as they emerge.
Thank you. And Tori?
Yeah, hard to follow that. Great last thoughts there from the team, but I will just, one other thing I wanted to share, I'm still stewing on your earlier question around customers who may struggle to ask for help. And I think in those times too, it can feel very isolating and you may feel very alone or like you're the only one that's going through this. And so I just want to share, we are here to help support you through that. And we're, we feel very grateful to be a part of that journey with you and come alongside and help you navigate that. So, we helped 54,000 customers last year get connected to over $38 million worth of state emergency relief funding. And so I just wanted to share that stat just to hit home on the fact that you're not alone. There's a lot of customers out there struggling too. And, we want to walk alongside you while you work through if you're in a time of need. So.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. We take for granted when we hit the light switch that lights are going to come on. We stick a plug in, we're going to get power. And I know there's a lot involved in making it happen. So I appreciate you guys doing the work. Appreciate you accessing those funds so much for people that struggle a little bit. And Rich, I don't see as much, but I appreciate seeing you around and being involved in Muskegon County the way you are, and always being willing to show up. And even when things get tough, a couple of those outages where they're getting bombarded with calls, you always step up. So on behalf of the community, we appreciate you all, and thanks so much for joining us on the program today.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you for having us.
All right, folks, this has been Community Focus. We'll see you next Friday at 2 p.m. I won't be here, but I believe my brother Taki will be here hosting instead. But otherwise, take care. Find a way to be a blessing to somebody else. This has been Community Focus, WUVS 103.7 The Beat.
The wait is over. The all-new Umoja Radio Network, home to over 40 Black-owned radio stations and podcasts, is here for you. Connect to the world's fastest-growing collection of unapologetically Black and proud media, from podcasts to independent Black-owned radio stations, and access to the important news and music you need. Umoja Radio is from our culture, by our culture, for our culture. The all-new Umoja Radio is available right now on Google Play and the Apple Store. Join the movement. Be empowered.